Okay, and here we go again. So this is our final video lecture for the link layer lesson. Um, so I've already got a couple pieces on here right now. You can use all of these devices in a few seconds. But what I want to do is I want to show you a little close-up view of this particular switch right here. All right, so let me make this as big as possible and I can zoom in. Okay, so here we go. And you can see, of course, that this particular switch has a limited number of ports. Now, it has quite a few. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and another 6 here is 12, and it goes down, it means 24 in total, plus an extra couple of things. Okay, so we have a total of 26 places where we could plug in computers. So it sounds like we would be limited if we use this switch to only 26 computers. Now, if you've ever had a chance to peek into the little metal cabinets inside the classrooms, unfortunately you won't be able to see this today, you'll see that a lot of our switches have probably 48 or 50 actual places. So obviously you need to do something like this for a bigger network or a room with a lot of computers. This particular 2960 switch would probably be big enough in order to deal with our classroom, but not much more, because usually we have about 25 computers. Now, so here's becomes the question is, what on earth would you end up doing if you had too many computers to plug in at the same time? Okay, well, what I'm going to get you to do is I want you to try something. I'll pause the video while you go off and try it, then I'll come back and I'll do exactly the same thing. But I'm going to start with the following. Okay, what I want you to do is I want you to, first of all, delete the two network connections right here. Okay, then what I'm going to get you to do is I want you to take these two computers and I want you to introduce yet another switch. So here's an extra switch down here, and I want you to reconnect these two computers down here, from here into here. Okay, so again, doesn't really matter, and I want you to hook from this into this. Okay, and again, doesn't matter which port we pick. And I want you to go through and I want you to configure all of the addresses so that they match on the same network. So I'm talking 200.34.12.10.24 would be fine. And maybe this one over here we could change to 200.34.12.22/24. Now, of course, you can tell that all of these computers should be able to communicate with each other, but of course they're put on two completely different switches. Now, why do we put them on two switches? Well, the question becomes, can you make the connection between the two switches and will everything work? Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. Let's leave up the following things. Pause the video, of course, so that you can see what's going on. So first of all, pause video, and configure the extra switch. Okay, 2, configure IP addresses as shown. Okay, make sure you can ping each pair. Okay, so what do I mean by this? I mean, make sure that you can ping from 12.3 over to 12.6. Make sure you can ping from 12.10 to 12.22. And of course, well, are you going to be able to ping from 3 down to 22? Absolutely not, because there's absolutely nothing. Okay, so here's your final thing. Connect the two switches. What do I mean by that? Well, I'm going to let this be your exercise. Can you connect the two switches? So I guess it's a question. Can you connect the two switches? And can you get it to work? Okay, I want you to go off and I want you to try for about at least 2 or 3 minutes to try a couple of different things. Now remember, there's lots of places that you could plug things in. I'll leave this kind of as a challenge. So give it a try for a few minutes, and then unpause the video once you have it working, or you just can't get it to work and can't figure out what to do. Okay, and I'll be here and I will explain. So pause and at least try a couple minutes. Okay, so I'm guessing you either managed to get this to work or you just couldn't. So the question was really, can you connect two switches together? Does it work? And if it does work, what on earth is going on? All right, so I'm sure one of the things that you probably did was you probably went to the connections tab and you grabbed a copper straight cable and you plugged something in. Now, notice you could actually plug anything at all. Okay, let's just go ahead and try something. Okay, so we'll try from here to here. Okay, does it look like it ends up working? Well, the good news here is that it is showing me an orange connection. Okay, so of course what that means, well, we haven't really explained what the purpose of this is. I suppose what I should do is I should include one extra video. Okay, I'll actually do that. I'll include one extra short video afterwards to cover up what this orange dot means. But if you give it enough time, everything will should end up working. If you're okay, perfect, it's done. Remember that if you're really impatient, there is a button down here called fast forward time, and that will skip over some of the time it takes. Okay, now that everything is set up, sorry, I haven't actually changed my IP addresses yet, so please let me do this first. 234.12.10, network mask is there, and let me change this one to be 234.12.22. Okay, and everything is now set up. Okay, so now let's open this one. Now it looks like it's a good sign because everything happens to be green. All right, let's give it a try. So this is my upper left, so let's ping 200.34.12.6, which is the upper right. Is it working? That's a good sign. Okay, now I'm also interested in knowing, will I be able to reach 22, which of course is the lower right hand corner, and yes, that is working perfectly fine as well. Okay, so it looks like it certainly is possible to connect the two switches. Okay, and of course the reason why it is possible is a switch is a layer 2 device. It actually has no idea about these things called 200.34.12. All it knows is it has packets. Okay, so what would happen is a packet, if this ping wanted to go down here to the lower right hand corner, you would start off with an ARP request out to everybody, a broadcast saying who has 234.12.22. Okay, and what will happen is this switch will receive the message and it will send it out to everybody. So it would send it out to this connection over here, and this person would see it, but guess what? It would also send it across this line right here down to the other switch with the broadcast message who has 234.12.22. And when this switch sees that broadcast message, guess what? It's going to send the same message out to both of the computers that it is connected to, because everybody is trying to track down 234.12.22. And eventually this one will respond saying, I'm over here, and it'll provide the MAC address, and then when this computer sends out its ping, it will send it out based on the MAC address, and it'll be able to find its destination. Okay, so that is the magic that makes this whole thing work. Now, just one final thing before I throw this away. Okay, when you take a look at the switch, okay, and you zoom in very carefully, you'll see that the switches have 24 ports all grouped together in one area. Then there's a couple of extra ports hanging over here at the end. And what these are usually used for what's called interconnects into other switches. It doesn't mean that you have to use them for connecting to other switches, but most of the time you'll probably see them connected this way. Okay, and what I'm going to do, sorry, one second, let me delete my connection from here to here, and let me go back in and I will grab a piece of connection again. What I'm going to do this time, rather than just picking Fast Ethernet 03, those two connectors on the right hand side are called the gigabit connectors. Yeah, they actually run at 1 gigabit per second versus Fast Ethernet, which is only at 100 megabits per second. And I'm going to connect from here, and I'll put the other end down here. Okay, that's actually the purpose of these those two extra connectors at the end. It doesn't mean that you have to use them for this. You could hook up a computer to them, and likewise you can hook up other switches to the regular Fast Ethernet ports. Okay, let's just fast forward time and you'll see that the switch links now turn green. So that's sort of a typical way how you would connect the two switches. You don't have to do this, okay? And in fact, my next exercise, I'm going to do something a little bit different. Okay, all right, so could you please upload? So give me 1 second here. I'll write this up. I want you to, well, since you've already paused the video, it's probably already done. So pause video. Send me a screenshot of this configuration showing the network pings succeeding from 234.12.3 to 234.12.22. Okay, so you can just upload that. Again, upload to B04, and once you're done this, the next exercise I don't need you to actually do, but please do watch it. Okay, so that's actually all of the stuff that you need to do for today's lab. And of course, don't forget that there is a quiz somewhere. If you haven't already finished B04 quiz, make sure you get in and actually do it. Okay, check my next video, by the way, before continuing.